long-awaited wedding with my beloved. I thought it would be blessed by many people and become a lifelong memory. But never did I imagine it would turn into such a disastrous situation. I want to forgive this ruin of the ceremony. And the situation takes an unexpected turn because of a certain person. My name is Eva, 28 years old. While working for a foreign company, my days are busy and hectic, even though I have decided to get married this time. The partner is a person from a business associate, Alfred, who is 2 years older than me. Alfred is always very laid back and surprisingly innocent for his age. Every day with him is enjoyable, and my heart feels at ease. We decided to have the wedding ceremony first because I wanted to submit the marriage registration on our anniversary. My parents live overseas due to work circumstances. For now, I need to inform Alfred's parents about it. Alfred's parents gave me the impression of an ordinary, kind-hearted father and mother. They applied in leading Alfred and getting him into a top university, and a leading company is evident. With delicious tea sweets in front of them, they listened to our story with smiles on their faces. Are your parents overseas? Yes. So you having the ceremony first and then submitting the marriage registration? Mother-in-law asked her son. Yeah, that's right. We've been discussing it together, waiting to match the registration with our anniversary. I see. I hope the ceremony goes well. I felt a slight unease at her remark. I wonder if there's no deeper meaning behind hoping the ceremony goes well, but there's something about the way she said it that bothers me. Nevertheless, since my mother-in-law was smiling throughout, I decided to enjoy some light-hearted conversation for now. After a while, my parents-in-law stood up and said, "We'll be in the kitchen doing some work. You two can relax in the living room." Left alone, we looked at Alfred's childhood album and watched DVDs from his student days. I needed to use the bathroom at some point, so I went in search of it and could hear my parents-in-law's voices coming from the kitchen. "Hey, what do you think of that girl?" "You mean Eva?" My parents-in-law were talking about me. I couldn't help but eavesdrop from behind the corner. "I'm a little worried about that girl. It's strange in the first place to have a ceremony before registration got married." "That's true, but Alfred chose her, so there's nothing we can do about it, right?" Alfred mentioned it briefly before, but that girl apparently dropped out of high school. Dropped out of high school? In this day and age? That is indeed a little concerning. Right. Alfred is such a good kid, and yet he ends up with a partner who lacks education and common sense like that. Dropping out of high school means low income, doesn't it? I'm genuinely worried. Mother-in-law let out a deep sigh. I overheard the entire conversation between my parents-in-law and realized that they didn't think highly of me. My heartbeat started racing faster and faster. What should I do? To think that I would be perceived this way, even though it's our first meeting. My parents live overseas, so I can't rely on them. That's why I wanted to get along with my mother-in-law for situations like this. I hurried back to him and told him everything I had just heard. "Alfred, you know what? It seems like I'm not well liked by your parents." "What's wrong? Did something happen?" On my way to the bathroom, I overheard your parents talking in the kitchen. They are worried about mailing you off to someone like me, who they think has a low education and no common sense. My parents said that. He winked his eyes in surprise, stared at me intently, scratched his head in confusion, and had an indescribable expression on his face. I told him the most shocking thing that had happened to me. And also, your father called me a high school dropout. He said I have a low education. Did Alfred say that? Yes, it's true that I only graduated from junior high school, but that's about Japanese junior high school, and my highest educational achievement is a university degree from overseas. He started making excuses in a frustrated manner. No, I definitely told my parents before. I said that you were in Japan until high school and then went abroad to study. I never said anything about you being a high school dropout. I see. I don't think my parents meant any harm, so please don't worry too much dropout. I don't think my parents meant any harm, so please don't worry too much about it. He smiled reassuringly at me. I still felt unsettled myself. On the other hand, I thought it might be unnecessary for me, as someone they just met, to go out of my way to collect the eavesdropped conversation. However, I honestly wasn't fully satisfied with Alfred's attitude. I wasn't well liked by my future in-laws. Even though their own son's partner is troubled, he has such an optimistic perspective. But I'm sure he'll explain everything properly to his parents before the wedding. With that in mind, I decided to stop probing further. Months later, finally, the day of the wedding has arrived. I haven't seen my in-laws since that day. I feel a little anxious, but I'm in the best condition, fully prepared for today. My relationship with him is also good. It will be fine. It will surely be a great day. Just as I finished doing my makeup, there was a knock on the door. Thinking it was on one of staff, I opened the door and there stood my mother-in-law. Mother-in-law, what's wrong? With fear in my voice, I asked and my mother-in-law raised her eyebrows. Are your parents not here? I wanted to greet them since they are the bride's family, but I can't find them anywhere. They should have arrived a little early, right? Oh, I'm sorry, my family seems to be running a bit late. Actually, I have received a call from my parents and sister in the morning, informing me that their flight was delayed and they might arrive at the venue a little later. Upon hearing the explanation, my mother-in-law widened her eyes and raised her voice. What? Being late for the wedding? What kind of common sense do you have? I'm sorry, my family is coming from overseas and there was a flight delay. Excuses? That's why I didn't want this. Knowing someone as uncultured as you, is it crazy to be late on the day of the wedding? Not only was I being ridiculed, but my family was too. Even I couldn't help but feel anger welling up inside me. Sure, it might be rude to be late for the wedding, but my family, amidst their busy schedules, made time to come from overseas just for this. Why should they be subjected to unfounded criticism from someone who doesn't even know the circumstances? However, considering that we were moments away from the ceremony, I barely managed to swallow my discontent. If I were to argue with my mother-in-law right now, It would not only affect the wedding, but also put a strain on my relationship with him. I'm sorry, there are some circumstances, but my whole family will definitely attend. I somehow managed to squeeze out those words, but my voice trembled more than I had imagined. After my mother-in-law left the waiting room, fuming with anger, I was left alone, quietly shedding tears. In the end, my parents didn't make it to the ceremony, and the reception began as planned. Many attendees celebrated as joyful. While worrying about my parents' arrival, I decided to enjoy the reception to the fullest, completely forgetting the unpleasant experience earlier. However, at that moment, the voice of a woman echoed through the venue. "Oh, I can't stand it anymore." It was my mother-in-law. Her face flushed from alcohol. "Was that you just now, mother-in-law?" Seemingly not tolerant of alcohol, my mother-in-law was already swaying after just one drink. She glared at me, struggled towards me, and shouted loudly, "Cancel the wedding right now." The attendees began to murmur, and the venue descended into chaos. Ignoring the gaze of everyone, my mother-in-law continued her verbal abuse towards me. "Who do you think you are? Dropping out of high school and lacking common sense? Marrying Alfred? You are way out of your league." My mother-in-law snatched a glass from our table and downed it in one gulp before fixing me with an intense glare. "We don't want a poor bride who dropped out of high school. Get out of our sight." In that moment, the anger I had been desperately holding back finally erupted. They were his parents. They might continue to be involved in our lives. That's what I had been thinking, enjoying it all, but now I didn't care anymore. Staring back at my mother-in-law, I spoke. "I understand your concerns, mother-in-law. However, I did not drop out of high school. I graduated from a university overseas." My mother-in-law started and, fueled by her drunkenness, firmly grabbed my back. "Don't lie. If you graduated from a university overseas, show me your diploma." She even pulled at the hem of my dress and attempted to strike me. My exquisite wedding dress was now in disarray. Ignoring the attempts of Alfred and the staff on intervene, my mother-in-law poured alcohol over my head. "I absolutely won't approve of this marriage. I've had enough. I'm going to kick this drunk old hag out of the venue." Just as I thought that, the doors of the hall opened. "Sorry for the being late." "Dad, Mom, and also sis." Eva, sorry to keep you waiting." My sister hugged me tightly and glared at my mother-in-law. "I had everything outside. How dare you say whatever you want to my cute little sister?" With the arrival of my sister, my mother-in-law's mouth started opening and closing, and she began to back away. "Why are you here?" "Why? To attend my sister's wedding, of course." "Your sister? You're Eva's sister and a famous person at that?" As it turns out, my sister is a world-famous actress. Her stage name is Anne. She ventured overseas as a model and challenged various fields. Her achievements were recognized, and she is now active not only in Japan but also worldwide. I only told my husband about my sister, and I requested that no one else, including our parents and the guests, be informed until the wedding day. It seems like everyone has realized my sister's true identity, and the venue is once again in an uproar. In the midst of it all, my sister let out a deep sigh. Oh, I came all the way to see my cute little sister's big day. I never expected the mother-in-law to be this kind of person. I'm even featured in advertisement for your husband's company. It's such a disappointment. My sister is used as a model in various commercials. Among her clients is the company where my father-in-law works. Being associated with a company that has a father-in-law who bullies his own precious sister is a huge image problem. I'm thinking of asking my manager to terminate the contract. Hey, wait a minute. If I step down from the commercials, it would be settled with just $1 billion in damages, right? My mother-in-law's face turned pale in an instant, and she started panicking. My father-in-law, who had been listening to the conversation, fell to his knees before her arm. Please wait. If my wife's actions led to the termination of the contract, my position at the company. My sister glared at my father-in-law. I don't know about that. Even though your wife treated my sister that way, it's hard to believe that you just let it slide. You know, the thing that makes me the most furious is when my family is hurt. My in-laws stood there in shock, unable to find any words. But my father-in-law gradually started trembling. Don't mess with me. Why should my life be ruined by a brat like you? He shouted with a face that seemed to be on fire. It's your sister's fault for having a confusing background. If she had explained properly from the beginning, I wouldn't have misunderstood. Excuse me, it was you who arbitrarily judged me as uneducated, right? Without even confirming properly, what's the point now? And if I had known that Eva's sister is on, I would have been kind to her from the start. Even if she really had a low education, I would have forgiven her. It's your fault. You're not explaining anything. Oh, please. I can't even have a conversation with you. Both you and your wife are truly terrible people, despite how wonderfully Alfred has grown up. It's a pity to have parents like you. You? Suddenly my father-in-law grabbed Anne's collar tightly. My sister winked, struggling in pain. Before I could stop it, my mother-in-law stood in front of me. This isolated girl could use a little pain. Yeah, I don't know if she's a model or something, but she's getting carried away. Seeing my sister in pain, my mother-in-law smirked. Does it hurt? It's your fault, you know. Apologize right now and promise not to terminate the contract with our people's company. Come on, if you don't hurry, I'll apply more pressure. You know? It hurts. My sister's face turned pale. I couldn't bear to watch anymore. I had to do something, just as I was thinking that. Call it out. The one who confronted the two of them was Alfred. At the loud voice of his son, my father-in-law flinched and let go of my sister. Didn't I explain it many times? That Eva is a returnee and that she worked hard to graduate from university over there. Yet to ruin the wedding like this is unforgivable. I can't accept it. Alfred, you're mistaken. Mom was thinking of Alfred. Thinking of me? If you're a parent, shouldn't you wish for your son's happiness? I'm sorry, but I can't bear it anymore. I'll sever the ties of parent and child. Alfred, are you joking? Wait, Alfred. Alfred ignored the desperate pleas of my in-laws. My mother-in-law cried and collapsed, wailing. My father-in-law sat on the floor looking lost. The atmosphere of the ceremony became completely funereal. Finally, the venue staff escorted my father-in-law and mother-in-law outside, managing to finish the reception somehow. After the wedding ceremony ended, and we bid farewell to the attendees, my sister approached me apologetically. "I'm sorry, but I got carried away and said unnecessary things." "No, it's okay. Are you alright, big sister? I was happy that you stood up for me. Thank you." My sister blushed and hugged me tightly. "Eva, congratulations. I truly hope you'll be happy." Since then, Alfred has refused to meet his parents. It seems they have tried to contact him a few times, but he hasn't responded at all. He hasn't even informed them of our new address after moving. Now we live peacefully together, just the two of us. Eva, I'm really sorry because of my stupid parents. He still feels guilty about what happened back then. Even after several months have passed, he keeps apologizing. "It's fine, I'm happy now, and I'm really glad I could marry you, Alfred. I'll spend my whole life making you happy, Eva." "Thank you. I'm counting on you." I no longer worry about my in-laws. With the help of many people, I can enjoy this happy time. Our honeymoon is planned to be in the foreign country where my family lives. From now on, I want to cherish only those who value me.